Hey girl. Okay. We are talking about hiring a nanny. Right? You are going to hire a nanny. She's going to come into your house. You are going to have to interview. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this. You're going to have to interview and talk to a lot of people. Unless you just have like one Cinderella moment, which I would love to hear about. Please tell me all about it. But you're going to have to interview a lot of people. Of course, you're going to get their resume. Of course, you're going to, maybe call references ahead of time. I've done that a couple times because I'm like, I don't know, this resume, like anybody can look amazing on paper. Okay. But there are some things, like top things that you need to discuss with them during their interview. And these are kind of like my non-negotiables. Okay. So first things first, you need to discuss your parenting methods. I went to an in-home daycare, and the woman, she was just like melted butter. She was the sweetest woman. All the kids were like playing and having a good time, and obviously, like it checked all the boxes, right? She was like highly referred to me from a friend. Everything was super clean. She was like, obviously certified, everything. And there was one thing that she said that really like struck a chord with me. So we are on the strict side of parenting, right? My son has manners. He knows how to eat at a table. He knows not to interrupt when somebody's, talking to him. There's just certain things. There's certain rules in this house. You do not jump on the couch. You do not like climb up on the counter. You get your step stool, like things, right? Our job is to prepare these kids to be out in the world. I made the mistake of not giving her cereal because I usually mix up a little cereal and a little yogurt with a little honey and put it in a reusable pouch and give that to her while I'm cleaning up the kitchen. Well, she ate so much pasta, shrimp, tomatoes, peas. I thought there's no way that this girl's hungry. Like literally there's no way she's still hungry. And so I was like, oh, it's gonna go to waste. Bad idea. She was up from 1 to 3, hungry, signing. She was looking straight into the camera. Milk, eat. This is her eat. I think it's eat like this. But anyway, it's a deer at ease sign language. Okay. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't give her the cereal. I really thought no, honey, she was still hungry. Stick to the routine. Okay, stick to the routine. So anyway, your girl is tired today because I was up from 1 to 3, partying and giving the baby food. So anyway, mom fail. But it was also extra snuggles. So it's, perspective. And my back is sunburned. So I feel really itchy. I digress. Let's move back to the story, shall we? So the little boy took the toy away from her, and, she started crying. She gave it back, right? She had the little boy give the toy back. Okay, fine. So then Adira goes up and snatches the toy out of like a bigger kid's hand, and the little, the little big kid was like, oh, and she was like, no, she's the youngest, so she gets whatever she wants. And at first I was like, oh, that's cute. But then she's like, no, that's the rule. Whoever the youngest kid is, they get whatever they want, whenever they want. And I was like, well, but no, that's not how it is at my house. She obviously doesn't understand the concept of like, you get a turn, you get a turn, you get a turn, you get a turn. And I go back and forth on this whole idea of sharing, because it's kind of like, you share if you want to, but it's like, I don't have to share my phone with somebody. Like, I don't have to share like my drink or my food with another like adult. You know what I mean? It's not like you have to share. So I just kind of am like, let's take turns. If it's one toy that you both want, you just take turns, right? Kind of like you take turns on the gym equipment, right? At the gym. So anyway, then I was like, it didn't quite, I don't know, there was just something, it's not that it was awful, but I was just like, I don't know if that, because then she's going to come home and she's going to want that. And like, I can't have that. And so for me, it was slightly a deal breaker because I was like, that's not how I'm raising her. So that's one example of, parenting needs, or not parenting needs, but your parenting method, right? And what you need, you need to have your child care somewhat in line with your own parenting methods and your parenting style. Right, like obviously you're not going to drop your kid off with somebody that's just going to yank them, snatch them up and spank them. But at the same time, it's like, no, she's going to have to, like, she's got to be in this world. And, like, I don't want her to think that, like, oh, the world revolves around her. Because then it's going to create problems for me when she comes home, So, parenting methods. You need to discuss that with the nanny or even the babysitter, that's just keeping your kid alive, because at the end of the day, like, it needs to be, kids thrive on consistency and on structure, so it's got to be congruent. Another thing, if you're having a nanny come in your house, you need to discuss what housework you want them to take care of. So for me, in the beginning, the nanny's responsibility is like Adira's things. Her laundry, which includes her sheets, her towel, washcloth, all that, her laundry, and her food. And then keeping her room like neat and tidy. So we start there, and then you can kind of branch out, like, okay, can you pick up the toys, or hey, can you throw that other load of towels in, or hey, can you fold those towels while she's asleep if you finish her you're prepping her food or whatever have you. You also want to discuss like activities, like what is the nanny going to take your child to do, like these activities are approved, these are not. So it's like, for me, I would say, yes, you can walk down to like the park if she is in the stroller or in the wagon, but I am not comfortable with a nanny taking her to somebody else's house for like a play date, or we're just not there. So yeah, I would definitely discuss, different activities, like water activities, like with my son who's 6, who can pretty much swim, on his own without a life jacket, totally fine. Take him to the pool, like have a blast. With Adira, no, even with a life jacket, because I have like this weird thing about water. That's it. So you need to discuss those things up front. Do not be shy. Don't hesitate. If they're like, oh no, she'll be fine. If you don't feel in your chest and your belly that your kid is going to be fine, no, because you're paying this person to obviously, take care of your child, but also like that falls in line with how you are parenting and the things that you are and are not comfortable with. So yeah, what else? Another thing that you need to discuss with your nanny is phone usage. I understand in this day and age, everybody is hooked to their phone. However, phone use while you're taking care of my child and she is awake and there's things to be done is absolutely not, unless it's for emergencies. If all of the food is prepped, if all of her duties and tasks are complete, then that's at your discretion, because you could just give them more things to do. I mean, like it's a household, there's always stuff to do, right? So that is something that you need to discuss up front. Your child and their sleep schedule. They need to follow the sleep schedule so that you can sleep at night. How you put your baby to sleep is very, very important, because again, kids thrive on routine and structure. When the nanny is going to eat, because obviously if they're in your house all day long, they are going to need a lunch. So when is that? Do they eat with the baby? Do they eat with the kids? Do you want them to wait until the child is napping? It's completely up to you, because it's your house. Me personally, I like them to eat with the child, so that it's because we always sit down to eat together, all of us, as much as we possibly can. I'm here by myself, but we all sit down to eat dinner at the same time. I do not just put my kids to eat and then I do something else. We sit down as a family. And so I like to keep that like vibe going while the nanny is here. So I have her eat with the kids. The other thing is driving, which kind of loops back up into, what you are and are not comfortable with. If obviously, like if the nanny has to go pick up your older kid from school or pick up the kids, then that you're going to have to just, discuss with them, pull their driving record. This is going to be somebody that's driving your precious babies around, Don't be afraid to ask for that. Don't be afraid to, ask their references, other parents, about it. And yeah, I think the number one thing is just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask the questions. Don't be afraid to put out there what it is that you want from them. Stay tuned for part 8,000, where I am going to be giving you more tips and more things to help you hire the right nanny and train them properly.